cats also.
Oh gosh, yes. So
And you
allergic.
have cats, yes. So that's another
Yeah,
reason.
so many cats. So many cats. All right, so we are live on YouTube.
You're not that anyway. Oh, though. Oh, well.
I
Choose
know.
again. Choose again. Choose again.
That's right. That's
Choose
right.
again.
That is right. Those cats are pretty much our life. So I mean, they do become like your children.
Oh, yeah.
So, you become allergic to your children, do you kick them out? Oh no, you adopt more because, like I said,
I got a little dog in the corner, and I had a cat for 19 years. He was a dog. He was a doll.
yeah. We love these creatures that come to live with us.
Yes. Well, they're all God anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And they represent so much love. Anyway, I'm gonna turn the mic over to you, Sharon and Robert, to get started with your program with essays, ACIM essays. The mic is all yours.
Okay.
I want to just start by saying that Bob is not really able to talk again tonight. And so I'm going to be working with Sharon as we go through things and some choices on what we will be working with. Sharon, would you like to start with our opening from the course?
Yeah, I need to see it because I don't do, I'm on my phone. I don't have it right in front of me.
Oh, okay.
No, don't talk, Robert. Cherie can talk.
Okay.
I'm here to be, I'm going to
All right.
forget.
I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. And we have music, One More Light.
Should have stayed. Were there signs I ignored? Can I help you not to hurt anymore? We saw brilliance when the world was asleep. There are things that we can have but can't keep. If they say, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Will I do? The reminders pull the floor from your feet. In the kitchen, one more chair that you need. Whoa, and you're angry, and you should be. It's not fair. Just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. If they say cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Will I do? Whoa, whoa, will I do? Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Will I do? Will I do?
Okay, and this is, I'm speaking for Bob in what I say here. And he's written, I have some good news, I think. I now have an account with Instagram, Robert D. Sears, but I will admit I am clueless about how to use it. I am grateful for my assistant and working partner in Pakistan, Noor Islam, who has been my right-hand man since I started writing. You can read Noor's bio on my website, dinojamesbooks.com. I just got a message today from a reader in Japan I thought might be of interest. Hi, Robert. I have just finished reading your book, The Trial. Your understanding and the way you explain it are incredibly deep and clear. I was deeply moved by it. It is truly a great masterpiece. I am profoundly grateful for your book. With sincere appreciation, Takashi Miki. We engaged in a long, we engaged in a long conversation this morning in Japanese. And Bob writes, I love Google Translate. He is now reading the Typewriter Trilogy and also my essays in Japanese from the website. And it's just kind of interesting to see how things are spreading, not just locally here in the United States, but around the world, that people are being, have access to some of the same essays that we discuss here each week. I have a question at this point. This segment should not be about. Okay, yes.
You're not going to read that. You're going to ask him about this.
Okay. We have an essay that Bob wrote that is a little different than some of the other ones, but because of the group and their ages and their experiences and so on, when I got through reading it, I felt that it could be very helpful and interesting. You might also even get a giggle out of it if we are to try this one, which says, what happens after 80? And if you are interested in us trying this one, then I will go ahead and read it, and then we will go on to choosing from the other list of essays afterwards. Does that work for the group?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds great to me. I'm heading there. Rafi is
Alright.
there. So we're all on our way. Let's do it.
Yeah, I've been there quite a while.
All right, what happens after 80? A personal field report with notes from the peanut gallery. There's an unintended comedy in watching a video called Once You Turn 80. These 5 things happen whether you like it or not, well past 80. Most people watch videos like that to preview the future. I watched it like product quality control. Let's see if they got this right. Spoiler, mostly yes, though they left out a few interesting spiritual features and upgrade glitches. The video lists a handful of changes that tend to show up around this age. Physical slowing, shifts in sleep, memory changes, refined social circles, and rearranged priorities. These are scientifically neat and tidy. What they don't mention is how strange and beautiful this stage of life can be once you're actually in it. There's more going on here than biology. There's a shift in how you see yourself, your past, and the world. Aging looks like decline from the outside, but from the inside, done with curiosity instead of dread, it feels like distillation. The non-essentials fall away. The meaningful things stay. In ACIM language, it feels less like losing time and more like withdrawing your investment in the world you made. Not officially cited here. I'm saving that for when my group has coffee. You stop trying to improve the furniture arrangement in the dream and start waking up to the fact that you were dreaming at all. A new career at 80. Because why not? The first surprise for me was reinvention. I didn't retire into golf, cruises, or complaining about young people's music. I became a writer at 80. This is ridiculous because I was never a writer. I barely qualified as a reader. Bookstores were places where I bought coffee, not literature. I started writing what I knew: volunteerism, raising monarch butterflies, and environmental issues. Monarchs were easy. They don't argue with you. Then I tried politics. That lasted long enough for me to realize that political writing produces smoke, not light. The division was predictable, and I discovered I didn't want to add more noise to the world. So I shifted again, this time into spirituality. That shift was the pivot. Politics divides, spirit unifies. The Course says mind always looks inward first and then decides what it wants to see outside. Again, loosely referenced. When you write about spirit instead of ideology, you're speaking to the part of people that recognizes itself. The effect is different. It's quieter, more inclusive, more sane. The sleep scheduling department has been reassigned. The video is correct that physical patterns change. My sleep schedule has been replaced by something out of a monastery. I fall asleep around 9 p.m. without negotiation. I wake up at 3 a.m., wide awake and ready to work. It turns out that the Holy Spirit keeps office hours at 3 a.m., and apparently I didn't get a choice in the scheduling. Some of my best ideas arrive at that hour. Essays, book outlines, affirmations, and occasionally the realization that I left the hose running in the garden. Later in the day, I require small question mark naps, 1 or 2 hours, to reboot the mental software. After 80, I stopped pretending that I was running the show. Something deeper is driving. ACIM reminds us that the mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force. It just shifts where the creativity shows up. Mine migrated from daytime action to pre-dawn inspiration. I'm also less active and require more rest between tasks. The younger me worked like a human bulldozer. The older me works like a segmented train. Move, pause, reflect, infuse, continue. But that slowing has benefits. The mind has space. There's less urgency and more clarity. And I no longer judge myself for taking naps. I call them micro meditations, which sounds much more enlightened. The mystery of memory, also known as where did I put that file? Memory is another area where the video hits close to home. There are days when I stare at the computer trying to remember how to do something I've done 1,000 times. Then, without warning, I recall a scene from 1962 with sharp detail, including what song was playing on the radio. Apparently, the brain considers drag and drop file management less important than what your girlfriend said in the parking lot after the junior prom. To cope, I now use checklists, labels, and the time-honored strategy called writing things down. Younger people think lists are boring. Older people think lists are survival tools. I adapt by relying more on wisdom and experience than rapid recall. Rapid recall is overrated anyway. Wisdom is what lets you avoid doing the same stupid thing twice, while recall just lets you repeat the stupid thing faster. ACIM's take on memory is interesting. It treats memory not as storage of the past, but as recognition of the present. It says, the miracle reminds you of a forgotten past that is actually eternal. My earthly memory may misplace my password list, but the deeper memory of peace, kindness, and wholeness is fully operational. It's usually just buried under the Windows desktop. Social circles, changing the cast list. The video talks about shrinking social circles. This is true, but incomplete. Relationships don't just shrink, they refine. Superficial relationships evaporate. Obligatory socializing disappears. People you once tolerated drift away, not because of conflict, but because your inner compass no longer points in their direction. Meanwhile, deeper, more emotionally honest connections emerge. In the past, I had acquaintances. In my 80s, I found intimacy. My marriage at 73 is the deepest and most heartfelt of my life, and that's counting the previous 3 attempts. Either I found the right person, or I stopped trying to conduct relationships with half my brain offline. Probably both. My experience in ACIM Gather is another example. In 6 months, I formed more meaningful relationships than in the previous 7 decades. These connections are built on shared inquiry, mutual uplift, humor, and the gentle acknowledgement that we're all trying to wake up from the same dream. The Course says relationships are the classroom of awakening. And apparently, I finally showed up for class. The priority reboot. One of the most accurate points in the video is about shifting priorities. In earlier decades, I believed in being a good provider, which translated to producing substantial income. That was the cultural script. It was also exhausting. In my 80s, that script dissolved. I stopped trying to make money from my books. I give them away. I write them to share content, not to sell product. Strangely, that's when I reached the most financially contented state of my life. Minimal income, all needs met. Desires muted. Who knew the secret to financial peace was not making more, but wanting less? This shift pairs nicely with a Course idea. Seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. When I stopped trying to rearrange external circumstances for financial security, internal security showed up on its own. It was there all along, but it needed space. Less anger, more gratitude, mostly. Another quiet change that comes with age is the softening of reaction. Things that used to trigger frustration or outrage now trigger curiosity, or at least a little shrug and an eye roll. When you're younger, you believe the world is misbehaving on purpose. When you're older, you realize the world is just doing what worlds do. Acceptance replaces complaint. Gratitude replaces irritability. Don't get me wrong. I am not floating around in a cloud of buttercups and enlightenment. I still have days when my printer refuses to print, the software crashes, and I briefly consider setting everything on fire. But the half-life of irritation is shorter. Peace returns quicker. The Course says peace is already present, but it must be chosen. Paraphrase. At 80, choosing peace becomes easier because the alternatives are exhausting. So, did I get the video right? From a factual standpoint, yes. The video covers the physical and psychological adjustments of late life with decent accuracy, but it leaves out the inner dimension. It doesn't capture how aging reorganizes consciousness itself. To live through your 80s is to experience the collapse of urgency, the refinement of relationships, the rediscovery of inner memory, the arrival of contentment, and the shift from doing to being. From the outside, aging looks like slowing down. From the inside, it feels like waking up. The body winds down while the inner life lights up. The Course suggests that the world of form is not the source of real life anyway. So when form slows, spirit has room to speak. This is why the spiritual path often blossoms in later life. With fewer distractions, fewer demands, and fewer illusions about control, you finally have space to notice the quiet voice that's been whispering for decades. Call it Holy Spirit, intuition, guidance, higher self, or just that voice that shows up at 3 a.m. It's all the same door. Conclusion. Editing the final chapters. Watching the video, I didn't feel dread or nostalgia. I felt recognition The narrator wasn't describing decline. They were describing transition. Aging doesn't close the book. It edits the book. You remove what doesn't belong, refine what does, and keep writing until the final page. And if you're lucky or awake at 3 a.m., you discover that the last chapters are the most meaningful. You write not to prove anything, but to share. You connect not to be validated, but to remember. You forgive because it's easier than carrying the luggage. You love because that's what remains when the noise is gone. ACIM would call that healing. I call it Tuesday. Any comments?
Oh, I think it was absolutely beautiful, just beautiful. Yeah, I enjoyed, it's just beautiful to, I'm 71, so I like to learn about these, what would happen as we get older, because we do lose so much. But the contentment is in me now too. But I just love the way you put everything together, Robert. It was absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
Can you
Bob
hear
has
me,
this
everyone?
a message.
Am I still not being heard?
Hang on, hang on. Myrna, go ahead.
Myrna, you're being heard now.
Oh, I am? Oh, I
Yeah.
can be heard. Okay, all right. I played around, I fiddled around with the camera and so forth. Well, I absolutely loved that. I really did, because of course I relate to that. I became a writer after I retired, and it's something that I absolutely adhere to. Okay, in fact, that's why I'm back. I've been so remiss in coming to these Tuesday meetings that I really enjoy, because I wanted to complete my latest book, and I did. I finally finished it. I'm so excited. I mean, it's amazing how new things do take hold when you really reach that 80 point, that I don't know, that time in our life when suddenly everything really does seem to change, but in a way for the better. And I have to tell you, I really like being my age. I really do. I've learned so much, and I've learned to accept, and I've learned to calm down, and I don't have to react to the same way that I used to. I can absolutely. It's amazing how the world. Not the world. The world doesn't teach us anything really, but we overcome the world, and it's just I loved what I just heard, because I related to so much of it. Anyway, it's so good to be heard again.
Great.
Yeah, I think Rafi, Myrna, and Robert are all in their 80s. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just thank you so much for this. I love it. A couple of things jumped out at me right away. First of all, when I got into my 80s, I started to realize that the common sense of wisdom that comes with age parallels metaphysical spirituality. And this too shall pass. What are you worried about? Stay calm. There's only now. And then I looked at the age, and at 86, I can't relate to the number, and I don't know anybody that I've ever talked to in the last few years who are in their 70s and 80s who that can relate to the number. They don't know what the number means. Well, nobody knows what the number means, because it's just a couple of digits, and if you give it a meaning, then it has a meaning. The only thing that was the big shift was there's no more sexuality. Sexuality died out when I was about 80. And it used to be a big deal in my life. Wow. Whoa, 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 the biggest thing. Couldn't matter less. Don't even miss it. One of the first things that happened was, instead of looking at women as sex objects, I started looking at them as, what's that word again? Oh yeah, people. Oh, they're a person. And then the whole person thing dropped away when I started seeing everybody as divine love. Then gender had no meaning whatsoever. All the other stuff that came out of all the spiritual work that I do, releasing Sedona Method, Course in Miracles, Ho'oponopono, all of these wonderful techniques that we have enriched this dream life for me more and more and more, while I'm trying to wake up from it by focusing on my purpose. But the more I focus on my purpose, the richer the dream life gets. My net worth keeps increasing like crazy. I still do all the things I love: acting, writing, directing, singing, reading, volunteering, reading for the children. I keep my, creative juices flowing all the time. What am I missing out on here? Not a damn thing. And so, what's the age got to do with anything? Not a damn thing. So thank you, Bob. This is beautiful.
It was beautiful, just beautiful. Yours was beautiful. And the way you shared and the way Myrna shared was just beautiful. Just appreciate it.
Brooklyn?
Namaste, mighty companions, my beautiful mighty companions. Bob, that was beautiful. I'm looking forward. I'm 72 now, so I'm looking forward to my 80s. I find being older is a lot more peaceful than being younger. And Rafi and Myrna, yeah, I want to be like you guys when I grow up. It's a lot's changed, but a lot's changed for the good. Sometimes I still think about, things I used to do when I was younger, and I'm glad I did them, but would I do them now? Nah, I don't wanna. No, nah, not for me, thanks. And I love her so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Matthew, I just want to say something here. I disagree with you just a little bit. And that is, some things are still fun, but they're different, but not as important. I'll let you figure that out.
Oh, I know what he meant. Rafi looks like he doesn't know.
Any other comments on this
I
essay?
couldn't understand what he was saying.
All right, let me try to say it. He disagrees with you to a certain extent, in that things change and may not be exactly the same, but can still be enjoyed.
How does that a disagreement with me?
Yeah, he was talking
About sex.
about sex.
Well, if he can still enjoy sex, God bless him.
No, he said it's different, but it's also beautiful. That's how it.
All right, so that's everybody's walking their path their way. If that's the way he does his, this is the way it happened for me. But there are no mistakes, so we stay in acceptance. It's all cool.
Okay, we have a list of the various essays available to choose from. And again, Bob takes the older ones off the list and adds new ones. He writes 2 to 3 a day typically. So there's usually a number of new ones each week. So if people want to look through and see if there's something that you would like to include. And we're also looking for someone who'd like to read.
I'll read. I mean,
okay.
I usually read. But here's the thing, Robert, you put something out on Facebook and I didn't have time to really read it. And it looked like a lot of people, well, I don't know if a lot of people read it, but it was just, I forget what it was. Whatever you put on Facebook today, can you remember? Well, no, maybe you can't because you can't talk. Great.
Do you know what you put on Facebook today?
I'd have to look. I post several things every day.
How about the power of nonviolent communicate? Well, they're not here. Everybody's not here, but the power of nonviolent.
You wouldn't remember now.
You said violation communication is violent, so it's
No, no, okay, let's find it. Hold on.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is, let me just preface this. This is before I listened to what Lynn played last week. So this was written weeks ago. And it's not really as accurate. It's okay.
well, we could have done another one. We didn't have to be that.
Well, the other one is peeling the onion.
Peeling the onion. That's the one I wanted. Should I do that one, Robert?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
That was I saw it and I thought this would be great. I got to tell him because I couldn't read it because I was busy. So now I
No,
get a
it's
chance.
great.
It's still reading. I'll catch up.
It's not on here yet.
Yeah, I gotta bring it up. Hold on.
Okay.
I lost it.
There we go. And she's gone. Okay, Sharon, can you see it now?
The first time I'm reading on my phone, so I might go slow.
Okay.
The first time I opened A Course in Miracles, it felt like walking into a fog. The language was poetic, dense, and at times bewildering. I underlined sentences that resonated only to lose the thread a moment later. I wasn't resistant to the ideas. I just wasn't sure I understood them. Yet, something kept pulling me back. Wait a minute, I lost that. I felt as if the book knew something about me that I hadn't discovered yet. Wow. Looking back, that early exposure was like removing the dry outer skin of an onion. I absorbed the big concepts: perception, projection, separation, guilt, forgiveness, fear, and love was all theoretical. I approached the course like a subject to be studied, trying to understand the logic and the metaphysics. That first layer had to be intellectual. It protected something deeper beneath it. Okay. Then I set the book aside. Life continued the way life does. Relationships strained and healed. Old wounds flared up. The ego kept insisting the world was unfair. Eventually, without any grand plan, I found myself returning to the course again. The time I wasn't chasing mastery, I wasn't chasing boxes or aiming for completion. I was simply being exposed to it again, reading a little here, listening there, reflecting in between. That's when the onion metaphor became real. With the intellectual layer peeled away, the next layer was closer to the heart. The course began holding up a mirror. I saw patterns in myself, how quickly I judged, how easily I assigned guilt, how fiercely I defended my position. Forgiveness, once a noble idea, became practical. It wasn't abstract. It wasn't abstract anymore. It was a tool. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with my phone. It was a tool for
breathing. Can you lose you?
You're muted.
I'm muted. Oh my God. I didn't realize I was muted. Okay. Peeling. Okay. That's when the onion metaphor became real. With the intellectual layer peeled away, the next layer was close to the heart. The course began holding up a mirror. I saw patterns in myself, how quickly I judged, how easily I assigned guilt, how fiercely I defended my position. Forgiveness, once a noble idea, became practical. It wasn't abstract anymore. It was a tool for breathing. Peeling that layer stung. Onions do that. The Course does too. It isn't trying to hurt me. It reveals the part of my mind that believes guilt, grievance, and anger keep me safe. Oh my God, this is great. Seeing this clearly is uncomfortable. Tears are not failure. They're signs I'm touching something real. As time passed, repeated exposures, sometimes reading, sometimes listening, sometimes just hearing others discuss it, peeled more layers. I began realizing that life outside the book was the actual classroom. The course wasn't talking about human nature in the abstract. It was describing my reactions in arguments, my anxiety about uncertainty, my habit of replaying grievances long after the moment had passed. One of the biggest shifts came when the journey stopped being solitary. Joining a sharing group changed everything. Each person brought their own understanding, their own struggles, and their own breakthroughs. When 10 different minds look at the same sentence and see 10 different doors, something opens that no solo study could achieve. I learned as much from listening as from reading, and many of the layers I shed came from hearing someone else describe their own. There was also a teacher under my roof. Through she never signed up for the role. My wife is not a course student. She's never worked through the workbook or wrestled with the metaphysics or terminology, yet she embodies what I spend so much time studying. I analyze projection. She responds with patience. I wrestle with forgiveness. She offers it without theatrics. I study the course, she lives it. In many ways, her example taught me more about the course than the course ever taught me about her. Over time, another layer revealed itself guilt, not that the dramatic kind that demands punishment, but the subtle whisper that says something is wrong with you or you should have known better. The Course doesn't shame guilt, it exposes it. And once exposed, it slowly evaporates. I had no idea how much guilt I carry until it started to dissolve. Oh, that's beautiful. Eventually, the onion gets thin. The course begins to feel less like challenge and more like an old friend who isn't in a hurry. There is patience in those pages, quiet humor in the workbook, lessons, and a steady assurance that beneath all fear, the center remains untouched. The center of the onion is not understanding, mastery, or perfect theology. The center is love. Not sentimental love or romance, but the quiet, unconditional love beneath fear. In the onion metaphor, the layers are blocks, and peeling is the unblocking. This is why people stay with the course for years, not because the material is incomplete, but because peeling takes time. Each return, whether it's reading a few pages, listening to a discussion, or noticing a reaction in daily life, reveals something new. Not because the course changed, but because I did. Eventually, I noticed shifts that had nothing to do with reading. I defended myself less. I apologized more easily. I replayed fewer conversations in my mind. I saw others as frightened rather than malicious. I saw myself as learning instead of failing. These small changes were peeled layers. At that point, the course stopped being a book and became a quiet companion. It didn't demand speed or consistency. It understood that peeling an onion takes time and tears, and that the center can't be rushed. And hear the truth, I haven't arrived anywhere. There is no destination, no certificate. I love this, no graduation. I'm just closer than I used to be. The layers are thinner, the defenses are weaker, forgiveness is easier. Some days I add new layers without meaning to other days, one falls away on its own. That seems to be how it works. If there's anything I'd offer someone new to this process, it's this. You don't have to peel the whole onion today, just notice one layer. That is enough. The center will still be there when you're ready, and it isn't going anywhere. What a magnificent essay. Oh my gosh, it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Any other comments or reactions from the group? Beautiful. Do we want to do, we've got about 6 minutes.
Oh, no, no. We might be
Can't
at-
do it. Too
no,
late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
I mean,
just.
the onion, what I loved about it was it's telling a new student, chill out, because this takes time. We always wonder, like when we're in a group, our egos go back into the classroom when we were kids or even college. And, when we are, it's just so amazing to me that the way you put this together for someone to feel like they're not in a rush. Like when I first got in there, I was like, I'm not getting this. And I was in a group. So it was like, but it wasn't a group online like this. It was Gather. Myrna, you were there then too, right? In Gather? Yeah. So I don't know. I think that the essay is just so beautiful and it's just so reassuring. Thank you.
Myrna, have you ever been in this particular session with Sharon before?
Yes, of course I know Sharon.
With
We,
reading my essay.
With reading the essays like we're doing right now?
no, I haven't done that. No.
Okay.
Yeah, you talk about writing. I have been so involved in a book that really took me about a year and a half to complete. But I was so involved in the book that, I found that every spare moment was dedicated to the book. So I really put everything else aside. I was so completely pulled into the writing. And when I first started writing, I think I started also, I think it was about 79 when I wrote my first book. And I didn't think I could write 10 words. Okay. And it's funny. I decided, well, let me just see if I can write one page. And I wrote one page. And then I said, well, let me see if I can write 3 pages. And then I completed 3 pages and so forth. And it's funny, until I think when I hit my 40th page, I knew the book was going to be complete. And that was such a joy to me. And I've just loved writing books. I've self-published all of them. except this latest one. I'm looking for a literary agent. I really think that I kind of almost arrived as a writer because I had so much experience with it. And it's something that I've become to really love doing. And I wasn't even a reader, let alone a writer, like you said, you know. So I really related to what you were saying in so many ways, whether it be relationships, whether it not taking things to heart anymore, not taking offense to things, not being with people that I just don't have time for. You know, it's not like it was in high school when I had to be. I had to be popular. That fades away completely, and you're just with people that you just love, and that's really that's what's so beautiful about getting up there in age, because you realize what is important. So I just want to thank you.
Bob just said being popular takes a lot of work.
And a lot of heartache.
Well, that's all I have. If anybody else has anything, I'm going to give it back to Lynn.
All right. Thanks you guys so very much. And great essays. Thanks everyone who read. You're actually looking pretty good, Bob. And of course, Cherie, you're beautiful. All of us, just such a lovely group of people. And it just makes me so happy that you chose us. You know, that, I mean, you talk about serendipity, however it happened that you came to us, it's the perfect thing. And like I said, I'm just so grateful. So thank you guys.
Actually, Lynn, I'm going to make a correction there. I didn't choose this. It chose me.
Yep.
The Course in Miracles chose me. It fell into my lap.
Yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm having such fun writing the novels about A Course in Miracles, because that puts course ideas into the hands of people that would never, ever look at the book.
Mm.
So anyway, I'll shut up. Thank you all for being here today. I love you all, but I am exhausted.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Get some rest.
Get some rest.
Tomorrow's my day off. Wayne will be here at 12:30 Eastern to do the lesson. So if anybody comes in at 12:30 Eastern, Wayne will be here. And of course, Edward will be here tomorrow evening, as always. So thank you all.
What's tomorrow evening, Lynn? What's tomorrow evening?
Edward just comes in here every day at 6 o'clock Eastern.
By himself?
Yeah. Yeah, he comes here by himself.
And
Yeah.
does he teach?
He just comes in here, and if anybody comes in, they talk. And if nobody comes in, he just comes and holds the space. But yeah, Edward is our daily watchman. He's here blessing us every day at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if anybody comes in,